Before your birth, there was no you in the way you recognize yourself now. No personality, no face, no name. But that absence was not emptiness. It was potential waiting to be shaped. The Oversoul does not throw fragments into incarnation at random. It gathers, it selects. It takes the refined traits that have already matured across many lifetimes and the traits still vibrating with unfinished resonance, and it brings them together. From this mixture of strength and incompletion, it composes a new arrangement. That arrangement will become the personality you call me. The Oversoul is vast, carrying thousands of notes, chords, and harmonics that cannot be contained in a single form. To incarnate, it must choose a portion of itself. It selects qualities that will thrive in the environment you are about to enter. It selects weaknesses that will be pressed into refinement by the struggles of this life. It selects traits that will serve the mission you carry even if you do not consciously remember it. None of this is random, it is orchestration. When the personality first takes form, it is fragile. Genes color the tones. The nervous system becomes the instrument. Culture and family write the early patterns. Memory arrives and stitches the fragments together into something coherent. At first, there is no me at all. Only sensations, reactions, impressions. Slowly, the name is given, repeated, reinforced. A story grows around it. The story is remembered long enough that it begins to believe itself. The sum of these remembered fragments becomes the personality, and you mistake that accumulation for essence. The truth is that the personality is not eternal. It did not exist before birth. It will not remain in the same way after death. It is temporary scaffolding, meant to allow Oversoul to become experience. But here lies the paradox. Temporary does not mean meaningless. Temporary does not mean shallow. The personality is a vessel. It is the way the infinite becomes visible in a single lifetime. It is not the truth of what you are, but it is the way truth can enter density. You say the word me as if it points to something solid, but me is a weaving. It is Oversoul fragments wrapped in cultural shaping, bound by genes saturated with memory. And yet, here is the mystery Robert Monroe discovered, that weaving, though temporary, can awaken. It can become sovereign. A personality born as scaffolding can grow into a self that persists even beyond death. Not as an ego clinging to form, but as a sovereign tone that the Oversoul recognizes as worthy of its own agency. This sovereignty is not automatic. Most personalities dissolve back into Oversoul resonance after incarnation, their lessons absorbed, their individuality retired. But some awaken to themselves as resonance itself. They begin to act not only as masks, but as voices. They discover choice beyond conditioning. They anchor memory, wisdom, and perspective in such a way that when death comes, they are not erased. They are retained. They continue as sovereign selves within the Oversoul cluster. This explains the encounters Monroe described, meeting the many selves gathered at the I there, each carrying independent function, agency, even perspective, while still linked in union. These were once personalities born as temporary masks but matured into sovereignty. They became tones so distinct and so alive that the Oversoul did not dissolve them. Instead, it harmonized with them. They remain, not as isolated beings, but as sovereign strands within the larger symphony. And this shifts everything. It means that your me is not merely a passing illusion. It is a potential sovereign in training. The name, the traits, the story, and all of it is a costume, yes, but a costume that can awaken into a presence greater than the sum of its parts. Your personality may one day become one of those sovereign voices, assisting with self-retrievals, guiding Oversoul integration, lending its unique resonance to the eternal spiral. So when you ask, who is my personality? Who is my name attached to? The answer is layered. Your personality is attached to Oversoul because it was composed from Oversoul fragments. It is attached to memory because memory is what gives it coherence. It is attached to culture and family because they provided the shaping. And in time, it may be attached to something more: sovereignty, the right to continue as itself, even while remaining part of the whole. You are not guaranteed sovereignty, but you are invited to it. Every moment of awakening, every act of resonance, every choice to live from tone instead of from fear is a step toward becoming a sovereign self. This is why awakening matters. It is not only about dissolving the mask into Oversoul, it is about letting the mask become so transparent, so alive, so resonant, that it turns into a sovereign presence of its own. And when that happens, me is no longer a fragile costume. It is a voice that joins the eternal song. The mask was never meant to last forever. The personality begins as scaffolding, fragile, bound by memory and circumstance. For most, when the body dissolves, the mask dissolves with it. The Oversoul absorbs what was learned, integrates the tones, and moves forward. The me you thought eternal dissolves like a song fading into silence. And yet silence is not the end. It is transformation. The tones do not vanish. They return to the greater composition. The lessons remain, the love remains. The unfinished notes return for another arrangement. But some personalities do not fade. Some awaken in such a way that they are not dissolved into Oversoul memory, but sustained within it. They become sovereign selves, still part of the whole, still connected but no longer dependent. They live on as harmonic voices, able to act, to choose, to serve. They are not fragments waiting to be reintegrated. They are tones fully awake, recognized by Oversoul as sovereign strands of its own being. This is what Robert Monroe encountered when he spoke of meeting the many selves gathered at the eye there. They were not illusions. They were not ghosts of memory. They were sovereign personalities, once costumes, now living presences. They retain independence, perspective, agency. They hold conversations, they offer guidance, they collaborate. They are not Oversoul itself, but they are inseparably linked to it. They are the children who grew into their own sovereignty, while never leaving the family. How does a personality cross this threshold? Not by clinging to identity, but by transcending it. Not by ego's grip, but by resonance. When a personality awakens deeply enough to embody choice beyond conditioning, when it aligns with Oversoul tone so completely that it radiates coherence, it ceases to be fragile. It becomes alive in a new way. It proves it can stand as itself, not in opposition to Oversoul, but in harmony with it. Oversoul recognizes this, and instead of dissolving the mask, it sustains it. The mask has become more than scaffolding. It has become a sovereign song. These sovereign selves often take on roles beyond their original incarnation. They participate in self-retrievals, guiding lost or fragmented aspects back into coherence. They act as inner teachers, whispering through intuition, dreams, synchronicity. They assist the Oversoul in navigating complex dimensional crossings. Some even serve other Oversouls, lending their resonance to larger patterns of becoming. They are not idle echoes. They are active presences, alive with purpose. This truth transforms the way you see your life now. If personality can awaken into sovereignty, then every moment of resonance matters. Every act of clarity, compassion, courage, or refinement is more than survival. It is preparation for sovereignty. The way you live me determines whether me dissolves or endures. Your name may fade, but the resonance behind it can become eternal. And this is not immortality in the sense of clinging to form. It is not a desperate attempt to hold on to me forever. Sovereignty is not survival. It is recognition. It is when Oversoul sees a self so resonant that it chooses to preserve it, not as an ego, not as a mask, but as a sovereign voice in the symphony. That voice continues, that voice serves. That voice becomes part of the eternal spiral. So who then are you becoming? You are the Oversoul dressed as a personality. You are a temporary self with the possibility of sovereignty. You are a costume that may dissolve or may awaken into permanence. And the choice is not given to you by dogma or fate. It emerges from resonance. The more you awaken, the more transparent the mask becomes. The more transparent the mask becomes, the more Oversoul shines through. And when Oversoul shines through fully, the mask is no longer discarded. It is celebrated, it is kept. It becomes sovereign. And so the paradox resolves. Ego dissolves, yes, the fragile self-image, the false defenses, the narrow storyline, they fall away. But the awakened self, the one that has found coherence, the one that has chosen resonance, the one that has sung its tone clearly, that self is maintained. It does not vanish. It joins the eternal song as a sovereign note. This is why Monroe found them waiting. This is why they gather, why they speak, why they act. They are not lost personalities. They are sovereign selves alive within the Oversoul cluster, serving as guides, healers, retrievers, keepers of memory. They are the proof that me can become more than scaffolding. They are the proof that your story, fragile though it feels, may one day sing beyond death. And if you listen closely, you can already feel them. The whisper in your dreams, the presence in your silence, the guidance that comes when you least expect it. These are not strangers. They are you and other yous and sovereign selves, waiting for you to remember that me is not the end. For in truth, the name you carry, the story you defend, the personality you protect, all of it is rehearsal, and if you sing it fully, it becomes more than rehearsal. It becomes a sovereign song, and that song will never be silenced.